The morning sun was just rising over New York City when the sky went dark. Massive ships appeared above every major city on Earth, blocking out the light with their enormous shadows. The alien vessels were larger than anything humans had ever built. Each ship was the size of a mountain, floating silently in the air. People stopped walking on the streets and looked up in terror. Cars crashed as drivers forgot to watch the road. Within minutes, every news channel was broadcasting the same impossible sight. The aliens had arrived. President Sarah Chen was in the White House when her security team rushed into her office. "Madam President, we have a situation," General Martinez said, his voice shaking slightly. "Unknown aircraft are positioned over every major population center worldwide. They're not responding to any communication attempts." Sarah followed him to the Situation Room, where dozens of screens showed the alien ships hovering motionlessly over cities across the globe. London, Tokyo, Moscow, Beijing. Everywhere humans lived, the aliens waited. Then the ships began to speak. Every television, radio, and internet connection on Earth suddenly carried the same message. The voice was cold and mechanical, translated into every human language simultaneously. "People of Earth, I am Admiral Kethvar of the Zephyrian Hegemony. Your species has been selected for integration into our empire. You have 72 hours to surrender completely. Your governments must announce total submission to hegemony rule. Resistance will result in the elimination of your species." The message continued with terms that made Sarah's blood run cold. Humans would become workers for the alien empire. Earth's resources would be taken. The human population would be reduced to manageable numbers. Those who remained would serve their new masters without question. "We have conquered 437 worlds," the alien voice said. "None have refused our generous offer of survival through service. We expect your compliance within the stated time frame." The broadcast ended, leaving Earth in shocked silence. Within hours, every world leader was connected through emergency communications. Prime Minister Johnson from Britain spoke first. "This cannot be real. Our own technology can barely put a space station in orbit, and these beings cross space like it's nothing." "The ships are real enough," President Volkov of Russia replied grimly. "Our satellites show their energy readings are beyond our ability to measure. These beings could destroy our cities with ease." Sarah listened to the panic in her colleagues' voices. Fear was the natural response. The aliens clearly possessed technology far beyond anything humans had achieved. Their ships alone showed capabilities that Earth's scientists could only dream about. But as Sarah listened to the debate, something else grew inside her. Not fear, but anger. These aliens spoke of humans like they were animals to be managed. They offered slavery disguised as mercy and called it generous. "I need to address our people," Sarah told her staff after ending the world leaders' call. "Schedule a global broadcast for tonight." Her advisors looked nervous. Defense Secretary Williams cleared his throat. "Madam President, what exactly are you planning to tell them?" "Our military experts estimate those ships could level every city on Earth within hours. Perhaps we should consider negotiating." Sarah's eyes flashed. "Negotiate? Did you hear their terms? They want us to become their slaves. They want to reduce our numbers like we're livestock. That's not negotiation. That's surrender, with extra steps." That evening, Sarah stood before cameras that would broadcast her words to every human on Earth and to the alien ships above. Behind her stood military leaders from every major nation. Their faces grim but determined. "My fellow human beings," Sarah began, looking directly into the camera. 72 hours ago, we thought we were alone in the universe. Now we know we are not. We have been visited by beings who possess technology we can barely understand. They have made us an offer." She paused, letting the weight of the moment settle. "They offer us survival in exchange for our freedom. They promise to let some of us live if we agree to serve them without question. They speak of managing our population and taking our resources. They call this generous." Around the world, people gathered around screens, holding their breath. "I have consulted with leaders from every nation. We have examined their demands carefully. We have considered their overwhelming technological advantage. and we have reached a decision. Our free. Sarah's voice grew stronger, carrying a conviction that surprised even her own advisors. We reject their offer. We will not trade our freedom for the promise of survival as slaves. We choose to fight for our right to exist as free beings, regardless of the odds against us. In the alien command ship high above Earth, Admiral Kethvar watched the human leader's speech with something approaching disbelief. In 4 centuries of expansion, no species had ever rejected the hegemony's terms. The choice was always simple: serve and live, or resist and die. Admiral, his aide said carefully, perhaps the humans do not understand the consequences of their choice. Should we demonstrate our capabilities? Kethvar studied the data streams showing human population centers. No. Their primitive technology cannot threaten us. Let them have their moment of defiance. In 3 days, we will show them what happens to those who refuse the hegemony's generosity. But as he watched more broadcasts from Earth's surface, Kethvar noticed something troubling. Instead of panic and chaos, humans seemed to be organizing. Their military forces were mobilizing with unusual speed and coordination. Most strangely, their leaders spoke of fighting with a confidence that made no logical sense. On Earth, Sarah's speech had ended, but its effects were just beginning. Around the world, people did not run or hide. Instead, they prepared. Military bases activated secret protocols that had been waiting for decades. Hidden installations powered up systems that officially did not exist. Scientists opened sealed files containing plans that no alien would expect humans to possess. The 72 hours were counting down, but Earth was not simply waiting for destruction. Humanity had made its choice, and now they would show the galaxy what that choice meant. Admiral Kethvar would learn soon enough that humans had a very different idea of what surrender meant. The 72-hour deadline passed without any word from Earth's governments. Admiral Kethvar prepared to demonstrate why resistance was pointless. His fleet would begin with selective strikes on military targets, followed by bombardment of population centers until the humans begged for mercy. Begin orbital bombardment, Kethvar commanded. Target their largest military installations first. The hegemony warships powered their main weapons, preparing to rain destruction on Earth's surface. Energy readings spiked as the alien vessels charged their devastating weaponry. Below, major military bases should have been scrambling in helpless panic. Instead, something impossible happened. The debris field around Earth suddenly came alive with weapons fire. What the aliens had dismissed as orbital junk and old satellites revealed themselves as hidden defense platforms. Thousands of concealed weapons opened fire simultaneously, creating a wall of energy that tore through the alien fleet's forward positions. What in the void? Kethvar shouted as his flagship shuddered under unexpected impact. Where did those weapons come from? Our scans showed only primitive satellites. His tactical officer's voice cracked with stress. Admiral, we're detecting massive energy signatures from installations we never identified. They were completely hidden from our sensors. Dr. Elena Vasquez watched from her command center deep beneath the Rocky Mountains as the Lazarus Protocol activated perfectly. For 30 years, humanity had been secretly building this defense network, disguising advanced weapons platforms as space debris and defunct satellites. Every piece had been designed to look harmless until the moment it struck. All platforms are firing within acceptable parameters, she reported to General Martinez. The aliens fell for the deception completely. They never suspected we could hide technology in plain sight. But the hidden platforms were only the beginning of humanity's surprises. Captain Maria Rodriguez launched her squadron from a base that officially did not exist. Her pilots flew ships that looked like modified civilian transports, but packed military-grade weapons and armor. More importantly, they flew with a coordination that baffled the alien observers. Remember, people, Maria broadcast to her pilots. We trained for this our whole careers. Show them what human creativity looks like when we stop playing by their rules. The human fighters attacked in patterns that violated every tactical manual the hegemony had ever written. Instead of maintaining formation and following predictable attack runs, the humans split apart and struck from completely random directions. Some pilots used their ships like guided missiles, ramming alien vessels in carefully calculated suicide attacks that crippled much larger enemy ships. Most disturbing to the aliens, the humans seemed to coordinate effortlessly with their artificial intelligence systems. Where the hegemony strictly controlled AI as a potentially dangerous tool, humans fought alongside their computer partners as equals. Marcus Thompson led the Digital Warfare Division from his station in Geneva. His team had spent years preparing for this moment, studying every piece of alien technology that Earth's telescopes could analyze. The moment the alien ships entered Earth's space, Marcus and his AI partners began their own assault. "Aria, initiate penetration protocols," Marcus said to his AI partner. "Let's show them what happens when you bring networked systems into range of humans who grew up with computers." The AI's response came instantly. "Executing digital intrusion." "Marcus, I'm detecting surprisingly poor cybersecurity in their systems. They appear to have never encountered coordinated AI-human cyber attacks." Within minutes, alien ships began receiving false orders from their own command systems. Navigation computers guided vessels into collision courses with their allies. Weapon systems fired at random targets. Communication networks broadcast confusing messages that threw the entire alien fleet into chaos. HFY realized with growing horror that his technologically superior fleet was losing the engagement. "How are they doing this? Their technology is centuries behind ours." His science officer studied the sensor data with obvious confusion. "Admiral, they're not trying to match our technology. They're using tactics we've never encountered. They fight like they enjoy the combat itself, and their artificial intelligences are cooperating with them instead of being controlled by them." The first phase of the battle ended with devastating losses for the hegemony fleet. Human defenders had destroyed or disabled nearly 40% of the alien attack force using weapons and tactics that seemed impossible for such a primitive species. As the surviving alien ships retreated to regroup, HFY found himself facing a situation no hegemony commander had ever encountered. The humans had not just resisted. They had won a significant victory against overwhelming technological odds. On Earth, the celebration was brief but meaningful. President Sarah Chen addressed the world again, this time from a military command center that had been hidden beneath Washington for decades. "Today, humanity proved something important," Sarah said. "We proved that superior technology means nothing without the will to use it creatively. Our enemies expected us to cower and surrender. Instead, we showed them what humans do best. We adapted, we improvised, and we fought back." But Sarah knew this was only the beginning. The aliens would return with greater force and better preparation. Humanity had won the first battle through surprise and creativity, but the real war was just starting. Dr. Vasquez was already analyzing captured alien technology from destroyed ships. Her teams worked around the clock, reverse engineering alien systems with a speed that amazed even her. "The principles are actually quite straightforward once you understand the basic energy matrices," she explained to her assistants. "We can adapt these designs to our existing systems within weeks." Engineer Jin Watanabe led the technological integration teams. He discovered that human engineering philosophy created unexpected advantages when combined with alien technology. Where the aliens built systems for efficiency and reliability, humans built for adaptability and repair. The result was hybrid technology that performed far better than either species had achieved alone. "The aliens build their technology to work perfectly under expected conditions," Jin explained to his team. "We build ours to keep working when everything goes wrong. When you combine both approaches, you get systems that are both advanced and nearly indestructible." As night fell over the battlefield above Earth, Admiral HFY sent an emergency message to Hegemony High Command. His report was simple but terrifying. "Request immediate reinforcement. Human resistance exceeds all projections. Standard conquest protocols have failed." The response came quickly. "Full battle fleet dispatched. Prepare for total planetary sterilization if necessary." Humanity had won their first victory. But they had also escalated a local police action into a full-scale war. The aliens were no longer trying to conquer Earth. They were trying to survive contact with a species that fought like no other in the galaxy. The real battle was about to begin. The hegemony battle fleet arrived at Earth 3 weeks later, with enough firepower to destroy entire star systems. Admiral HFY had been relieved of command for his failure, replaced by Battle Commander HFY, whose reputation for brutally efficient conquest was known throughout the galaxy. "This primitive world has embarrassed the hegemony long enough," HFY announced to his fleet commanders. "We will demonstrate why resistance is futile." Total bombardment begins in 6 hours, but as the massive alien fleet took position around Earth, they found a very different world than the one they expected. Human ships now patrolled Earth's outer atmosphere, vessels that combined captured alien technology with human engineering in ways that should have been impossible. Captain Maria Rodriguez commanded the defense fleet from her flagship, a hybrid vessel that her engineers had built using parts from destroyed alien ships. "Remember, people," she broadcast to her captains, "we've learned their technology, but they still don't understand ours. Use that advantage." The battle began with the aliens expecting to face the same desperate resistance they had encountered before. Instead, they found themselves fighting an enemy that had grown stronger and more dangerous with every passing day. Dr. Elena Vasquez had been busy during those 3 weeks. Her teams had not only reverse-engineered alien technology but had improved it using human innovation. "The aliens build everything the same way," she explained to President Chen. "Their technology is efficient but predictable. We've made it unpredictable." Human ships now moved with acceleration that violated alien understanding of physics. Their weapons fired in patterns that confused enemy targeting systems. Most importantly, their tactics had evolved beyond anything the hegemony had ever encountered. Commander Jake Morrison led a boarding assault on an alien command ship using a strategy that shocked even his own troops. Instead of trying to disable the vessel through conventional attack, his teams used captured alien teleportation technology to appear directly inside the enemy bridge. "Surrender your vessel," Morrison told the alien officers, who were too stunned to resist effectively. "Cooperate, and you'll be treated according to the rules of war. Fight, and you'll discover why humans are considered dangerous." For the first time in hegemony history, an alien command crew surrendered to a boarding party from a primitive species. Under interrogation, the captured aliens revealed information that explained their terror of human tactics. Captain Maria Rodriguez sat across from a Zephyrian officer who seemed genuinely confused by human behavior. "Your species makes no sense," the alien officer said through a translator. "Every other species we've conquered fought to minimize their losses. You fight like you want to take losses. You use tactics that guarantee casualties for your own side." Maria leaned back in her chair. "You don't understand humans at all, do you? We don't fight to minimize losses. We fight to win. Sometimes, that means taking risks that seem crazy to you." The alien officer's confusion deepened. "But why would you choose tactics that result in your own deaths? Every other species values survival above victory." "Because," Maria said simply, "some things are worth dying for. Freedom is one of them. And when humans fight for something worth dying for, we become very difficult to stop." The psychological impact of human resistance began spreading throughout hegemony space. For the first time in centuries, other conquered species watched as someone successfully fought back against their oppressors. Human tactics and footage of their victories somehow reached occupied worlds despite hegemony attempts to block all communications. Engineer Jin Watanabe had solved the communication problem by developing quantum broadcast technology that the aliens couldn't detect or stop. "We're not just fighting for Earth," he explained to his team. "We're fighting to show the galaxy that the hegemony can be beaten." The broadcasts showed humans doing things that other species considered impossible. They showed human soldiers fighting alongside artificial intelligences as partners rather than tools. They showed human engineers taking alien technology and making it work better than its original designers had ever intended. Most importantly, they showed humans winning. On the occupied world of Keth Prime, a Valorian resistance leader named Threshik watched human battle footage in secret. The Valorians had been under hegemony rule for over 2 centuries, but they had never seen anyone fight the way humans fought. "Look at this," Threshik showed his fellow rebels. "These humans take enemy ships and turn them against their own fleet within hours. They use captured weapons better than the species that built them. The footage showed human teams boarding alien vessels and fighting corridor by corridor with a ferocity that amazed the watching Valorians. But what impressed them most was how quickly humans adapted to alien environments and equipment. "They've been fighting for less than 2 months," another Valorian said in wonder. "But they move through alien ships like they built them. How do they learn so fast?" Dr. Raj Patel had been studying that exact question from his xenobiology lab on Earth. His research revealed that humans possessed an unusual combination of adaptability and learning speed that other species lacked. Most species adapt to new environments over generations, Patel explained to the Scientific Council. Humans adapt within months or even weeks. We can physically and mentally adjust to conditions that would kill other species or require them centuries to accommodate. This adaptability was proving crucial in the war. Human pilots could fly alien ships within days of capturing them. Human engineers could repair alien technology using improvised materials. Human soldiers could fight in alien environments that should have been completely hostile to their biology. Battle Commander Zex Hai found himself facing a situation that contradicted everything in hegemony military doctrine. His fleet was not just losing battles, it was losing ships to an enemy that seemed to improve with every engagement. "How are they doing this?" he demanded of his intelligence officers. "They've been fighting us for 6 weeks. They should be exhausted and running out of resources. Instead, they're getting stronger." His tactical analyst provided an answer that chilled every alien officer in the room. "Commander, I believe the humans are using our own attacks as a form of training. Every battle teaches them more about our technology and tactics. They appear to be learning from combat itself." The revelation was terrifying. The hegemony had always won through overwhelming technological superiority. They had never faced an enemy that could learn their technology faster than they could develop countermeasures. As the third major battle around Earth reached its climax, Commander Morrison made a decision that would change the course of the war. Instead of defending Earth's orbital space, human forces launched their own attack on hegemony supply ships in the outer system. "Time to take this fight to them," Morrison announced to his strike force. "Let's show them what happens when humans stop playing defense." The attack succeeded beyond anyone's expectations. Using captured alien ships and hybrid technology, human forces destroyed an entire supply convoy and captured enough resources to sustain their war effort for months. More importantly, the attack demonstrated that humans were no longer trapped defending their homeworld. They had developed the capability to strike anywhere in local space using alien technology combined with human innovation. The war had evolved from a planetary invasion to a regional conflict, with humans somehow seizing the initiative against an enemy that possessed superior numbers and technology. Admiral Kethvar, watching from detention as his replacement struggled with the same problems that had cost him his command, realized something that filled him with dread. The humans weren't just fighting a war, they were revolutionizing warfare itself. And if they continued to spread their tactics and technology to other species, the hegemony's centuries of dominance would come to an end. The galaxy was about to learn what happened when humans went to war. The rebellion began on Keth Prime, where Valorian resistance fighters used human tactics to destroy a hegemony supply depot. Within weeks, similar attacks erupted across a dozen occupied worlds. The human broadcasts had shown oppressed species something they thought impossible. The hegemony could be defeated. Commander Yuki Tanaka led the first joint human-alien strike force in galactic history. Her fleet included captured hegemony vessels crewed by human volunteers and 3 species of alien rebels who had broken free from their homeworlds to join the fight. "This is unprecedented," her Valorian tactical officer Threshik reported. "My people have never fought alongside another species as equals. But these human strategies work for anyone willing to use them." Yuki studied the tactical display showing their target, a massive hegemony fortress that controlled shipping routes for 6 star systems. The base was heavily defended and had never been successfully attacked in over 2 centuries of operation. "Remember," Yuki addressed her mixed crew, "we're not trying to match their firepower. We're going to use their own tactics against them in ways they can't predict. Every species brings something different to this fight. Use those differences." The assault began with what appeared to be a desperate attack by obsolete ships. Hegemony defenders prepared for an easy victory against primitive rebels flying captured vessels. They expected the usual pattern of alien resistance. Cautious attacks, followed by quick retreat when casualties mounted. Instead, they faced something that defied their understanding of warfare. Human pilots flew their ships directly into the fortress's docking bays, using the vessels as guided missiles while ejecting at the last moment. Valorian troops used their natural climbing abilities to scale the station's exterior and enter through maintenance hatches. Ketharan rebels used their ability to survive in vacuum to attack the fortress from angles no one had ever defended. Most shocking of all, the different species coordinated their assault with a precision that seemed impossible. Human tactical doctrine emphasized flexibility and adaptation. But somehow, these rebels from different worlds fought like a single organism. Dr. Raj Patel had been studying exactly this phenomenon from his research station. His xenobiology teams had discovered something remarkable about human leadership in mixed-species operations. Humans don't command other species, Patel explained to the War Council. They coordinate with them. Most species try to impose their own tactical preferences on their allies. Humans adapt their strategies to include alien capabilities they never knew existed. This approach was proving devastatingly effective. Human commanders took alien abilities that had never been considered useful in warfare and turned them into decisive advantages. Species that the hegemony had dismissed as weak or useless became dangerous opponents when their unique traits were properly utilized. On the fortress, the battle reached its climax when Yuki led a boarding party directly to the station's command center. Her team included members of 4 different species, each contributing abilities that complemented the others perfectly. "Surrender the station," Yuki told the hegemony commander, who stared at the mixed group with obvious disbelief. "Your garrison is surrounded, your defenses are compromised, and your communication systems are under our control." The alien commander looked at his tactical displays, which showed impossible readings. His fortress was indeed under complete enemy control, captured by a force that should have been destroyed within minutes of attacking. "How?" the commander asked. "You're using outdated ships and primitive tactics. This fortress has stood for 2 centuries. Your fortress was designed to defend against enemies who fight like you do," Yuki replied. "We don't fight like you do. We fight like humans, which means we fight like everyone who wants to be free." The capture of the Keth Prime Fortress sent shockwaves throughout hegemony space. For the first time in their history, a major military installation had fallen to inferior forces, using tactics that violated every principle of modern warfare. More importantly, the footage of mixed-species rebels fighting alongside humans spread to every corner of the galaxy. Oppressed worlds that had never dreamed of rebellion suddenly saw possibility in cooperation. Engineer Jin Watanabe had been working to ensure those broadcasts reached their targets. His quantum communication network now connected resistance movements on dozens of worlds, allowing them to coordinate operations across interstellar distances. "We're not just fighting the hegemony," Jin explained to his technical team. "We're building a new kind of galactic civilization. One where different species work together, instead of one dominating all the others." Jin. The war expanded rapidly as more species joined what became known as the Liberation War. The hegemony found itself fighting on dozens of fronts simultaneously, facing enemies who used human-inspired tactics combined with their own species' unique abilities. General Martinez coordinated the growing rebellion from his command center on Earth, which had become the unofficial headquarters for the Galactic Resistance. "The situation is exceeding our most optimistic projections," he reported to President Chen. 17 systems have declared independence. 23 more have active resistance movements. The hegemony is losing control of entire regions. But the real breakthrough came when Dr. Elena Vasquez successfully analyzed captured hegemony command codes. Her discovery revealed the location of the alien capital world and the disposition of their remaining fleet. "They've pulled most of their forces back to defend their core systems," Vasquez reported. "But that means they've abandoned the outer regions to concentrate their power. If we can coordinate a simultaneous attack across multiple systems," President Chen understood immediately. "We force them to choose between defending everything poorly or defending some things well. Either way, We win. Commander Jake Morrison led the strategic planning for the largest military operation in galactic history. The assault would involve 47 different worlds attacking hegemony positions simultaneously, with human-trained forces providing coordination and technical support. Every species has something unique to contribute, Morrison explained to the mixed group of military leaders. Valorians excel at infiltration and sabotage. Ketherans can survive in hostile environments. Zephyrian defectors know their own technology better than anyone. And humans, we bring chaos. The coordinated attacks began on schedule, striking across 6 star systems in a pattern that overwhelmed hegemony defenses. For every position they reinforced, 3 others came under attack. For every tactical advantage they exploited, the rebels found 2 new approaches that negated alien superiority. Admiral Kethvar, who had been secretly negotiating with human representatives, provided crucial intelligence about hegemony fleet movements. His defection represented the first time in alien history that a high-ranking military officer had changed sides during active combat. Your species has shown us something we had forgotten, Kethvar explained to President Chen during their clandestine meeting. The hegemony maintained power by convincing everyone that resistance was impossible. You proved that cooperation makes anything possible. As the Liberation War reached its peak, the hegemony faced a choice they had never confronted in their long history of conquest. They could continue fighting a war they were losing against an enemy that grew stronger with every battle. Or they could negotiate with species they had always considered inferior. The decision came when a mixed fleet of human and alien vessels appeared in orbit around the hegemony capital world. The fleet was smaller than the defending forces, but its mere presence represented something that terrified the alien leadership more than any weapon. For the first time in galactic history, former slaves had brought war to their master's home. Commander Yuki Tanaka transmitted a message to the planet below. We offer you the same choice you once offered us: surrender and accept a new order based on cooperation instead of domination, or face the consequences of continued resistance. The response would determine whether the galaxy moved toward freedom or descended into a war that could destroy entire civilizations. Humanity had started a revolution that could not be stopped. The siege of the hegemony capital world lasted only 3 days, but those 3 days changed the course of galactic history forever. Admiral Chen led the combined Liberation Fleet with representatives from 37 different species, each contributing their unique capabilities to the final assault. This is not about revenge, Chen announced to her diverse fleet commanders. This is about showing the galaxy that cooperation creates more strength than domination ever could. We fight to free everyone, including our former enemies. The hegemony's final defense was impressive. Orbital platforms, automated weapon systems, and the remnants of their once mighty fleet. But their technology was designed to fight enemies who followed predictable tactical patterns. The Liberation Force attacked with a coordination that seemed impossible for so many different species. Valorian stealth ships disabled the outer detection grid, while human hackers and their AI partners took control of the automated defenses. Ketheran assault troops used their natural resistance to energy weapons to board the orbital platforms, while Zephyrian defectors provided detailed intelligence about defensive weaknesses. The real surprise came when smaller ships from dozens of other species emerged from hiding throughout the system. Species that the hegemony had considered too weak or primitive to pose any threat revealed they had been secretly building resistance networks for months. We underestimated everyone, Admiral Kethvar admitted as he watched his former empire crumble. We never imagined that weak species could become strong when they worked together. The humans taught the galaxy something we had forgotten. Unity creates power. Emperor Zexthal, ruler of the hegemony for over 4 centuries, finally agreed to personal combat to determine the war's outcome. It was an ancient tradition that the hegemony had not invoked in generations, but desperate times called for desperate measures. Colonel Jake Morrison accepted the challenge, but when he arrived at the designated location, he brought something the Emperor never expected. A full team of human soldiers and their AI partners. You asked for single combat, Morrison explained to the confused alien ruler. This is how humans fight individually. We don't stand alone. We fight with our pack, our family, our entire civilization backing us up. The combat was brief but decisive. The Emperor's superior physical strength and advanced technology meant nothing against opponents who fought as a coordinated unit. Morrison's team used tactics that turned every advantage the alien possessed into a weakness. "I yield," Emperor Zexthul said finally, realizing that continued resistance would only result in unnecessary destruction. "Your species has proven that strength comes from cooperation, not domination." The hegemony surrenders. But the real shock came with humanity's response to victory. "We don't want to rule your empire," President Chen told the assembled alien leaders during the surrender ceremony. "We want to replace it with something better. Something where every species has an equal voice in their own destiny." Dr. Elena Vasquez presented the proposal that would reshape galactic civilization. The Terran Federation would be based on voluntary membership, democratic representation, and shared technology development. Instead of one species dominating others, each world would contribute its unique strengths to the common good. "Every species brings something valuable," Vasquez explained to the mixed audience of former enemies and new allies. Valorians excel at engineering and stealth technology. Ketherans have mastered environmental adaptation. Even the Zephyrians have contributed defensive systems that protect entire star systems. Together, we can accomplish things none of us could achieve alone. The proposal was radical by galactic standards. Most species had only known empires where stronger civilizations conquered weaker ones. The concept of voluntary alliance between equals was almost incomprehensible to many alien leaders. Engineer Jin Watanabe demonstrated the practical benefits of cooperation by showing hybrid technologies that combined innovations from multiple species. "Human adaptability plus Valorian precision plus Ketheran durability equals ships that perform better than anything any of us built separately," he said. Cooperation isn't just morally superior to conquest. It's more effective. The transition was not without challenges. Many former hegemony worlds struggled to adapt to self-governance after centuries of authoritarian rule. Some species attempted to establish their own small empires, only to discover that their neighbors now possessed human-taught defensive tactics. Commander Yuki Tanaka led the peacekeeping forces that helped maintain stability during the transition. Her mixed-species fleet became the model for the Federation's new approach to military organization: voluntary cooperation instead of forced hierarchy. "We're not trying to impose human values on anyone," Tanaka explained to local leaders on newly liberated worlds. "We're offering human methods for achieving whatever values you already hold. If you want freedom, we can show you how to defend it. If you want prosperity, we can show you how cooperation creates wealth. If you want peace, we can show you how strength prevents war." The most difficult moment came when several aggressive species attempted to restart the old conquest model, believing they could succeed where the hegemony had failed. The Federation's response demonstrated that while humans preferred cooperation, they had not forgotten how to fight. The brief Second Liberation War lasted only 6 months, but it established crucial precedents. Species that chose conquest over cooperation found themselves facing not just human opposition, but coordinated resistance from every member of the new Federation. "We will defend freedom anywhere it is threatened," Admiral Chen announced after the final victory. "The galaxy has learned that cooperation works better than domination. We will not allow anyone to return to the old ways of empire and slavery." Dr. Raj Patel's long-term studies revealed why the human approach had succeeded so completely. Most species evolve under conditions that favor either cooperation or competition, he explained to the Federation Science Council. "Humans are unusual because we evolved both traits simultaneously. We can cooperate with allies more effectively than most species, but we can also compete against enemies more fiercely than anyone expects." This combination proved crucial for galactic leadership. Humans could build alliances that included former enemies while maintaining the strength necessary to defend those alliances against new threats. 5 years after first contact, President Chen stood on the observation deck of the Federation's capital station, watching ships from dozens of species, working together to build new colonies and explore uncharted regions. Children from multiple species played together in the station's parks, while their parents collaborated on projects that would have been impossible under the old imperial system. "We didn't just win a war," Chen reflected to her staff. We changed what it means to be strong in this galaxy. Strength isn't about conquering others. It's about lifting everyone up together. The transformation was visible everywhere. Former slave species now contributed as equals to galactic civilization. Technology advanced faster than ever before, as different species shared their innovations freely. Most importantly, war between civilized species became increasingly rare, as the benefits of cooperation became obvious to everyone. The hegemony's former capital world became the site of the Federation's military academy, where officers from every member species learned human tactical principles alongside their own traditional methods. The curriculum emphasized adaptation, cooperation, and the creative use of diverse capabilities. General Martinez, now commander of the Federation Defense Forces, addressed each graduating class with the same message. You are not here to learn how to conquer. You are here to learn how to protect. The galaxy has seen enough conquest. Your job is to make sure freedom survives and thrives. As the ceremony concluded, representatives from 43 different worlds signed a new treaty, extending Federation membership to previously unknown species from distant star systems. Humanity's revolution had spread far beyond its original scope, creating a civilization based on voluntary cooperation rather than forced submission. The aliens who had once demanded Earth's surrender now worked alongside humans to defend their shared freedoms against any threat. The galaxy had learned that diversity was strength, cooperation was power, and freedom was worth any price. Humanity had not just won a war, they had taught the universe a new way to live.